Hey PTA Global fans, John Sinclair coming to you from Lake Diefenbaker in Saskatchewan. You know, I got a chance to practice a little bit more, think a little bit more about the 3DC system that we got for you, and really try to expand a little bit on that. As we know, the first part of the 3DC system, the environment. So I got a paddleboard, and the lake. The second part is my beginning position. When I first got introduced to this, they said, you know what? Stand with your feet shoulder width apart, your toes pointed forward on this board, and make sure your feet are symmetrical. I said, okay. And then I said, how do you paddle? I said, just put your paddle in the board, paddle in the water rather, and away you go. Well, that was only one way of doing it. So I did that for about 15 or 20 minutes out on the lake, got kind of bored, and I thought, how could I change my beginning position to get a different reaction to the body? Still in a standing position. So I started playing around with LXX, and then I went to RXX while I was moving, then I went RXE, and then I went RXI. I started playing around with all these beginning positions. What was fun about that is every time I paddled with an RXX position on the left side of the board, got a different reaction than when I was on the right side of the board. Notice how I turned a little bit more. So I thought, well, hey, if I want to stay in a straight line, I'll keep my right foot forward, left foot back. I'll paddle on the left side of the board a little longer. Started to go in a straight line. Then I thought, well, that was fun. Why don't I go a little bit harder? So I could change my energy systems a little bit. Instead of a nice upright, easy paddle, I got right into there, added a squat. So we added another vertical dimension to it. We started playing with triangulation. I was like, hey, that's awesome. Let's go back to beginning position. What if I did it in a half kneeling position? Choke down on the oar. I could kind of do some half kneeling stuff for a little while if I wanted. What if I decided to go completely kneeling? Hey, this board's so stable, I could paddle in a kneeling position if I got bored with it. How about if I went seated? So now I started playing with all my different global positions. I could paddle in a seated position, get kind of a kayak effect out of it. So really, there wasn't just one way of using the paddleboard. I had infinite ways. That's the power of the 3DC. So we can take any movement you want to do, change it up. I got infinite ways in which to use this paddleboard to have some fun out on the lake. Got a fish chasing me right here. It's kind of cool. So that makes it even more fun. What if I changed my body's positioning relative to the board? As soon as I got into here, it was a completely different environment. It was a lot scarier to be on this board in this position, I'll tell you that much. But if I paddle it in the same direction, that's a heck of a lot more challenging. It's October the 8th right now at Lake Diefenbaker, so it's a little bit cold. So I don't want to play around on this too much. I might end up falling in. But when I play around with my body relative to this board, I'm getting a completely different game going on. See how I'm turning around? So now, can I play on the board and play around a little bit more? Right now, Richard Boyd's laughing his tail off because he's a super surfer and I completely suck being a flatlander. And I tell you what, if we get the opportunity to play around a little bit more on this, hopefully one day I'll be approved by the Aussies to be on one of these big surfboards. Until then, keep playing around with 3DC, change your environment, your beginning position, drive your body a little bit differently, triangulate it. Let's use a different direction that I'm headed. Let's go a different vertical height when I'm on this board. Why don't we try a little bit of horizontal distance, right? Small paddle versus a real big paddle. And the action that we're having, we're paddling, and we're having fun. Till next time, you guys, stay out of trouble, have some fun. Be well.